So let me tell you right now, if you're listening to this program, if an FBI director can mislead a court to get a warrant against an American citizen to further a political conspiracy to destroy somebody you don't like, we're in a world of hurt.
James Comey indicted. James Comey indicted. Now, if you know anything about James Comey, he is a sleazeball of the highest order. And I will show you when he had his interview with Chris Wallace, how he lied for 5 minutes straight and Chris Wallace got him.
Oh, really?
Chris Wallace nailed him.
Of all people.
Chris Wallace, the bad Wallace, nailed him against the wall. So this is from Yahoo News. Why Trump's new prosecutor just charged the former director. So a federal grand jury indicted former FBI Director James Comey Thursday evening on 2 charges sought by President Trump's new handpicked prosecutor. Why did they handpick? Did they use an immigrant worker for this? What do they mean handpicked? One count of making false statements and 1 count of obstruction of justice. Now, he's done both those things. He's done worse. Comey immediately responded by proclaiming his innocence. You want to hear it? Here it is.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump. But we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees.
So this is James Comey's, this is his parlor trick. He knows how to look sincere and earnest when doing the most nefarious things. As every FBI director, if you're good, you will look like him. Now, if you're bad at it, you look like Kash Patel.
I was going to say, everybody except Kash Patel.
Kash
Patel's like,
you know,
I didn't know.
You can
what
tell
this
he's
job
lying
was.
immediately, Kash Patel. Now, James Comey, if you don't know anything about what he's talking about, he looks sincere. He looks earnest. He looks like a Boy Scout. He looks like a guy you want to hug him. But that's why he's got to be where he is, because he's that good of a liar. So just keep in mind. Okay.
And you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant. And she's right. But I'm not afraid. And I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged.
What is the rule of a tyrant is when they when they try to frame the president for treason, which is what he did. He tried to frame the president for treason and then lied to Congress about it. That's what he did. That's what rule. So when they do 4 separate prosecutions of the former president, when they overcharge all of his followers on January 6th, which was an FBI operation, by the way, that was a Fedsurrection. It wasn't an insurrection. So there's been this constant, everything they're accusing Trump of doing right now, prosecuting his political opponents, they did to him first, and they had to make it all up. Now, Trump is going after James Comey. He doesn't have to make up anything. It's real. Russiagate was completely made up, 100%, and they knew it.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about, that they knew it. Obama knew it was made up. James Comey knew it was made up. They all knew it was made up.
Trump
so that's
hasn't gone far enough, I think.
I don't think Trump is going far enough.
He's
but
protecting
it
too
just
many
so
people.
happens that these people are his political opponents who prosecuted him first politically. These are those were political prosecutions. So this idea that this just started yesterday or with Donald Trump and James Comey, again, it's just like the Jimmy Kimmel censorship stuff. Jimmy Kimmel's all for censorship. Everybody who's screaming about Jimmy Kimmel, they were all for it. When it happened to Tucker Carlson, when it happened to Julian Assange, when it happened to everybody else, they're all for it. Okay.
You know when he said, somebody I love dearly told me this, I was like, oh, is that Hillary Clinton?
Was it Hillary?
You are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does.
Boy, he really must be keeping the faith if he thinks voting is going to change anything. Anyway, here we go.
My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
Keep the faith. He must really be keeping the faith if he thinks voting is going to change anything. So here's one of the lies.
Do you stand by your House testimony of March 20th that there was no surveillance of the Trump campaign that you're aware of?
Correct.
You would know about it if they were, is that correct?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so he knew about it. Not only that, but they coordinated lies about it. So remember when Donald Trump said Obama has tapped my phones? They had. They lied to the FISA court 17 times. The FBI lied to the FISA court 17 times to get a phone tap on Donald Trump, which means they had a phone tap on everybody Donald Trump talked to in his campaign and anybody they talked to. It's called a two-hop rule. So when you get a wiretap on Donald Trump, you get a wiretap on anybody he's talked to and anybody that he's talked to has talked to. It's called a two-hop rule. So they had that. That's how they got General Michael Flynn. And we're going to talk about that. He entrapped Michael Flynn. So that's the first lie. He knew about it. In fact, here's Kash Patel. He tweets this out. The headline is exclusive. Prosecutors secured evidence Comey authorized classified leaks, but declined charges. New declassified memos reveal former FBI leadership authorized classified leaks while misleading Congress. Thanks to President Trump's push for transparency, the cover-up is finally being exposed. Accountability. So that's what so the story quoted previously redacted portions of the memos alleging that a lawyer working under Comey at the time, quote, disclosed United States government classified information to the New York Times under the belief he was ultimately instructed and authorized to do so by then FBI Director James Comey via an intermediary. So that's number two. Okay. So here's him lying twice to Senator Grassley and Ted Cruz.
Director Comey, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
Never.
Question two on relatively related. Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
No.
On May 3rd, 2017, in this committee, Chairman Grassley asked you point blank, quote, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? You responded under oath, quote, never. He then asked you, quote, have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton administration? You responded again under oath, no. Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
So your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
So do you believe it's legal for you to lie during a Zoom meeting? Because that's what he's doing. Here's what Lindsey Graham has to say about this.
Intelligence before the hearing basically told Comey, here's a bunch of intel regarding Clinton trying to cook this story up, and he says that he doesn't remember that. Can you imagine the Director of National Intelligence telling you as the FBI Director, there's plenty of evidence out here this thing was cooked up. So, but in August of 2016, 3 months before he signed the warrant application against Carter Page, being part of a conspiracy to, where Trump is an agent of Russia. In August, months before he signed the warrant application, they told him in front of Obama, there's evidence that Clinton is cooking this up. He never told the court that. So before he signed the first warrant application, alleging that Carter Page is part of a conspiracy with Donald Trump to sell out America, he never told the court that he had information that may all be cooked up by Hillary Clinton. When the subsource told the FBI about the dossier is a bunch of bar talk and hearsay, they never told the court. So let me tell you right now, if you're listening to this program, if an FBI director can mislead a court court to get a warrant against American citizen to further a political conspiracy to destroy somebody you don't like, we're in a world of hurt. So you'll never convince me that Comey didn't know about the accusation that it was Hillary Clinton making this up, that there was no there. And why didn't he tell the court about this information? Exculpatory information. One lawyer at the FBI went to jail for manipulating evidence to the FISA court. Here's the question for the legal system today. Is there compelling evidence that Comey withheld from the court pertinent information about the warrant application? How can you say he didn't? The FBI knew 3 different times it was all internet rumor and never told the court. Why did they do that? They wanted the investigation to continue during the Trump presidency. I believe this with all my heart, to destroy Donald Trump. If people get away with this, lying to a court, manipulating a court, withholding exculpatory information to a court of law to get a warrant against an American citizen, for political purposes, the rule of law has died. That's the big issue in this case. Not did you leak something to the press. That's important. The question for this country, and I believe this for 5 years, did the FBI director have information he should have given the FISA court that would have stopped this madness? And the answer is yes, he did. And the madness continued. And why did it continue? Because James Comey and a bunch of others wanted to destroy Donald Trump. That, to me, needs to be looked at.
Okay, let's go back to the August meeting that you referred to, where they uncovered
2016.
In 2016, August of 2016. Let's keep our years straight here. Well, let's go back to that meeting, and they had discovered a plot, a scheme, a political scheme of Hillary to try to tie Donald Trump to Russia. They knew it was bogus. They knew it was BS. My understanding is even Barack Obama was told about this. But wasn't Comey part of that meeting? Number one, and number two, when you couple that with the declassified information from Tulsi Gabbard, and remember what we learned in that declassification. We learned that career senior intelligence officials after the 2016 election, their assessment was no Russia collusion. That then was taken to Barack Obama himself, according to Tulsi on this show, and that he ordered a new intelligence assessment to contradict the real intelligence assessment, thus, I would argue, sabotaging Donald Trump as he is beginning to take the office of the presidency. Correct?
Yeah, I think, absolutely correct. But when I questioned him 5 years ago, I didn't believe a word he told me. I don't believe it's possible for the director of the FBI not to know that the subsource who gave the information about the Russian dossier recanted it and it never got up to him. I don't believe it's possible that Comey did not know there was accusations against Clinton cooking this up, because now we know that in August of 2016, 3 months before he applied for the warrant, they had a meeting about whether or not her campaign started this storyline to avoid exposure for the email scandal. So I didn't know that 5 years ago because Tulsi declassified it. But if I'd had then what I have now, I would ask him, let me refresh your memory. Do you remember being in a meeting with the president, the CIA director, in August of 2016 in the White House with President Obama, talking about the Clinton cooking this up, that their campaign may have started this for political reasons? It's on the books. Amazing. I didn't know that then. This stinks to high heaven.
Okay, so that's what Lindsey Graham has to say about it. Nicely done, Lindsey Graham. So he's lied. I'm going to say every time he's talked about Russiagate, he's lied about it. He's lied to Congress about it. He's lying now. He entrapped General Flynn through that illegal wiretap they got on Donald Trump. That's how they got rid of Michael Flynn. They got rid of General Flynn, not because of what he did, but they got him for lying to investigators. So what General Flynn did was, when he was appointed security advisor to Donald Trump, he called Russia and said, hey, look, we're going to be in office pretty soon. We don't want you to do anything retaliatory. Wait till we get in office, and we're going to work this out. Don't pay attention to what's happening right now with the sanctions they're putting on you and all that stuff. So that's what you would want somebody to do.
Right.
So they had that phone call. So they knew exactly what Flynn had said to his Russian counterpart, saying, hey, let's ratchet it down. Let's turn the heat down, and we'll take care of this when we get in office, because we've been elected. And so they had the tape of that conversation. So they went to, James Comey then sent his investigators to interview Flynn. His recollection of this conversation months and months ago didn't match up to exactly what he had said on the phone tapped interview. They knew. And so then they charged him with lying to the FBI. That's what General Flynn got charged with. Okay, just so you know, that's why he had to leave. And that was all because they had an illegal wiretap. Okay.
Well, also, Jimmy, Lindsey Graham said this is about rule of law is dead. Rule of law has been dead for some time. And the sad thing is, because Lindsey Graham is such a scumbag and Sean Hannity is a scumbag, and they're doing this, I'm sure, on behalf of Israel or Ukraine, right and left. it doesn't matter that they're doing this. But rule of law died quite some time ago.
Yeah. So here's Comey admitting to what he did to General Flynn.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the sit room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with.
So he sent 2 FBI agents to the White House to go get General Flynn. How did that happen? I sent them. Everybody laughs.
In a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration, the protocol, 2 men that all of us have perhaps increased appreciation for over the last 2 years. And in both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals, and who would be there. And I thought, it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over. And so we placed a call to Flynn, said, hey, we're sending a couple guys over. Hope you'll talk to them. He said, sure. Nobody else was there. They interviewed him in a conference room at the White House Situation Room, and he lied to them. And that's what he's now pled guilty to.
So he didn't plead guilty to actually committing a crime with Russia or something. They got him for lying to the FBI in an interview about his tapped phone call that he had with Russia. So all he had to do was misremember something, and they charged him with that, and then they threatened to prosecute his kid. So then he's like, all right, I'll take a deal and get out of this because obviously you guys are coming for us. And so that's what happened.
What do you think they were coming over there for?
I don't think he knew. No, we didn't tell him. Just said, we got sending over a couple of agents. I want to ask you some questions. I didn't have this conversation. My deputy director did, but hope you got a few minutes. You can sit down and talk to them. And he said, sure.
And so that's how they got General Flynn. They got him on lying to the FBI, not for the underlying actual crime. They got him for a secondary crime, which was he lied about this phone call. Not that the phone call was illegal, but that he didn't tell the FBI directly exactly what they knew they had. So just so you know, so here's the problem. Trump tweeted this out. Now, a lot of people are speculating that Trump thought he was sending a DM to Pam Bondi. I don't think that's what the case is, but I can see why people would think that. He said this on Truth Social. I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time. All talk, no action, nothing is being done. What about Comey and Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia James? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. Then we almost put a Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past, a woke rhino who was never going to do his job. That's why the 2 of the worst Democratic senators pushed him so hard. He even lied to the media and said he quit and that we had no case. No, I fired him. And that there is a great case. And many lawyers and legal pundits say so. Lindsey is a good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now, President Donald J. Trump. So that
this wasn't leaked. This wasn't a leak. An accidental post that this is like. That hilarious.
So some people say, "What did he think he was sending a DM?"
No,
because what that will do is give James Comey ammunition to say this is a political prosecution, and that's why Trump should not have done that. And if he was doing that on purpose, putting it out publicly, that's a bad idea. So Lindsey Halligan, that's the person that Trump just appointed. She's was sworn in Monday as U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, asked the grand jury to indict Comey just days after Trump publicly urged Attorney Pam Bondi to prosecute him and other perceived political adversaries, including Adam Schiff and Letitia James. So that doesn't look good for Trump. That's bad for the case because it makes it look like a straight-up political prosecution. He should have waited for her to charge without doing that. But he was doing that, I think, to signal to his base. Because I don't think he's going to fire Pam Bondi. Maybe he will, but it seems like Pam Bondi is insulated by Israel. Trump's appeal came after Halligan's predecessor, Eric Siebert, resigned in response. Trump now says he fired him in response to pressure from the president, and that's why Trump said the Democratic senators pushed for that guy to bring the case against Comey and James. Trump then nominated Halligan, a White House aide who had served as his personal lawyer and has no prosecutorial experience, to replace Siebert and get things moving, in his words. So, by the way, when I think the follow-up question, when Comey said, I sent a couple of guys over, hey, can you define what a guy is? I'd like
It was his daughter, Maureen.
So Thursday's 2-page indictment was signed only by Halligan. It accuses Comey of lying to Congress on September 30th, 2020, the day he denied under oath that he was involved in leaking information from the FBI's Trump-Russia investigation. The 5-year statute of limitations for any charges out of that hearing was set to lapse next week. So that's why they had to do it now, just so you know. Thursday's 2-page indictment was signed only by Halligan and accused Comey. He denied under oath that he was. So you got that. In recent weeks, career prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office again examined the memos, according to ABC News, and they were again unable to find evidence to prove that Comey likely committed either perjury or obstruction during his testimony. Well, he did. Chris Wallace was able to nail him for it when he interviewed him on his show, and we covered that already. I can show you that video. It's so I think this is beat the career prosecutors. I think they're corrupted because it's clear as day that he lied to Congress. It's clear as day he knew about this. He has his own deputy director saying that he was told to do this. He was told to leak information by Comey. In a memo provided to Halligan, these prosecutors argued that charging Comey with lying to Congress would not only fail in securing a conviction, which requires proving the allegations beyond a reasonable doubt, ABC reported, but it also falls short of the much lower probable cause standard for an indictment. They ultimately told Halligan that seeking the charges would violate Department of Justice policy, raise serious ethical issues, and risk being rejected by the grand jury. It didn't get rejected by the grand jury, so they were wrong about that. And I think they're lying. I think that's why, that's what I think. So then, so Trump tweeted this out: "Justice in America. One of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to is James Comey. The former corrupt head of the FBI today was indicted by a grand jury of 2 felony counts for various illegal and unlawful acts. He has been so bad for our country for so long, and now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our nation, make America great again." So there you go. So that's what's going on. He definitely...
Oh, boy, it sounds great. Apply that to the Epstein thing, Trump. I mean, what a joke everything is. What a goddamn joke.
Come see me on tour in Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco, Melbourne, Australia, Sydney, Australia, Brisbane, Burbank, California the day after Thanksgiving, and Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Hey, check out this story we covered about Putin and Xi discussing immortality through repeated organ transplants. Click the video on screen to watch.